Hello and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist. Today we have a seismic one. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, has just set the political scene on fire with some incredibly blunt remarks on Arise News. He went after politicians who promised to serve only one single term, and the undertone strongly suggests he had a particular political figure in mind. We are going to dissect this, play the clip, and give you the full gist. Let's start with the first part of his statement that got everyone talking. Take a watch.
Let's now discuss this issue. You said any politician pledging to serve one term must have some mental problem and needs to undergo a psychiatric test. And how can anyone with a functioning brain say that? That's what you said. If I'm wrong, you correct me. Don't you think the statement is, in a way, inflammatory and quite unbecoming of a governor of your stature? I mean, former central bank governor, former minister, now the governor of Anambra State. Respond to those statements you made.
I hope that this isn't because I thought you invited me to discuss something more substantive. I didn't think.
We'll discuss everything concerning your government.
Please, just let me, because I also can tell you no comment on this, and then go to the next question. But let me respond to that. You see, I said that in the context of the debate going on in my state. In a context where you have established a process of zoning and somebody wants to cut short that particular zoning or to, if you like, torpedo that, they come with this sweetener. Oh, if you give me this and then I will only spend this. They know they were being disingenuous. They came with that argument in 2017 when my predecessor was running for a second term. They came here and telling Anambra people, oh, some people promising us, including some people on the terrain today. Anambra people were quick to see through the disingenuity of that, of that kind of promise, and of course voted massively for APGA. We won 21 over 21 local governments in that election. Nobody bought that crap, as it were.
Okay, let's pause there. Governor Soludo comes out swinging, and his choice of words is deliberate and severe. To label a political promise as a symptom of a mental problem that requires a psychiatric test is an extreme form of political rhetoric. He's not just disagreeing with the policy, he's attempting to pathologize it and, by extension, the person proposing it. His initial defense is that this statement was made within the specific political context of Anambra State zoning agreement. He argues that anyone trying to break that agreement with a one-term promise is being deceptive, however, by bringing it up on a national platform like Arise News. He knows it will be interpreted in the context of the national presidential race. This is a classic political tactic. Make a conversational statement that is ostensibly about local politics but clearly aimed at a national rival to create doubt and controversy. He is framing the one-term promise not as a noble sacrifice but as a cynical ploy. Now, let's see how he builds on this argument in the second part of the clip. Watch this.
And now again, we are in for another election. And some people are again emerging in the same state. I am from the south. And the North just finished, handed over to the South, and the South will serve its term, and then it will go to Central. And now some people from the South senatorial zone are showing up because they realize that it does just right. Because they say, oh, don't worry, if you vote for me, so they are swimming against the tide. Oh, if you vote for me, I will spend only one term. I will spend only one term. Meanwhile, you see the manifesto that they are rolling out. You realize that even if they were to spend even 20 years, they wouldn't even scratch it. I mean, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. So, you're just taking the people to be you're just playing on the people's intelligence. You just think everybody is a fool. You just think, sorry. If anybody saying that, it's either is just being deliberately deceitful, okay, or there might be something not working right upstairs to take the entire people of Anambra State as fools, to think that the entire people are fools, not to see through the lie, not to see through the deception, then the person must have a mental issue.
All right. Like I said earlier, the central bank governor, not a minister, just to correct that as we go on. Well, don't you believe, Excellency, that longevity in office is not particularly a mark of success, rather purposeful, accountable service? Don't you believe in that axiom?
I must tell you that it is both. Just tell me, and the same people, let's even escalate it, but I don't want to distract from the purpose of this particular interview. But if you escalate it and you see people, you quote China, you quote Singapore, you quote Malaysia, transformations of Dubai, and you quote and so on and so forth. I will tell you, in those instances, you see a one-to-one, almost more than 90% correlation between longevity in office and ability to implement long-term transformational change, as it were. Now, how long is enough? That's, an interesting debate, whether 4 years or so, and especially if anyone who has been in office, who had a chance to stay for 4 years and leave, is coming up and the person spent 4 years and ran for another 4 years. You go back to the person's record to be able, that's what we call in economics credibility. So you make a commitment that you must be credible. What did you even achieve in your first 4 years when you were there? Because you have been there. If you extend it logically, I'm talking nationwide, some people saying this, and you ask them, what did you do in your 4 years as when you were governor or that and so on? Why did you seek for a second term? Why didn't you effect the magic in your 4 years to demonstrate as an illustration that, 4 years you could do the magic? Now, after serving 8 years there, and still not enough, you still have left quantum unfinished business. Now you come and tell Nigerians and anywhere else, in Anambra State, for example, you are going to fix the entire problems of Anambra within your manifesto, because these guys also have their manifesto. You look at what they are promising, and you realize that none of it can be done in 6 years. None. So, you see, it's good that you pointed to my history. I have been around a little bit. I've been governor of Central Bank. I've been chief economic advisor to President Obasanjo. I was the de facto minister of national planning. I superintended the drafting of a national economic empowerment and development strategy needs. And I saw how difficult it was to get one structural reform take root and get it cemented. I was governor of Central Bank. I began to run from the first day. I was there for 5 years. And still we're still left with Vision 2020 in place. I've been there. I've seen how time quickly flies. And I have seen people make those kinds of arguments before. We're not all, we don't all have selective amnesia. We know that even a president in no distant past promised the same thing. And then, of course, before long, 4 years just flew by. And he wanted to run again, of course, was defeated. So, these kinds of things, when people begin to say it, we've got memory, we've got collective memory. And we know that when people are making this, they are just taking the rest of us, I mean, as either fools or, or just being outrightly deceitful, especially if you have had a record. You could have done it. Maybe when you were, for example, governor. You should have done 2 years and say it's enough.
All right.
You
Excellent.
should have done 4 years and say and stop running for second term. But when the Constitution allows you to be able to spend up to a maximum of 8 years, and somebody starts off by saying, produces a prodigious manifesto that you can't even finish in 20 years.
All right,
and starts telling us, oh, in 4 years I will get it done. I'm sorry. Something must be wrong.
All right, Governor.
In this second part, Soludo expands his argument from local context to a broader philosophical one. He accuses these politicians of being disingenuous and of underestimating the intelligence of the electorate. He implies that their manifestos are so ambiguous that they couldn't possibly be achieved even in 20 years, let alone a single 4-year term. The most telling part of his comment is the reference to long-term development model. When politicians like Peter Obi discuss turning Nigeria around, they often cite the transformative journeys of nations like Singapore, China, and Malaysia. Soludo is subtly co-opting that argument. He's saying, you want development of those countries? Well, that kind of change requires long-term, consistent leadership, the very thing a single-term promise undermines. It's a clever way to turn his opponent's strength into a perceived weakness, suggesting their plans are unrealistic fantasies designed to trick voters. He's essentially asking the audience, do you want a quick, flashy promise or a slow, steady, and realistic transformation? Now, for my take on this, Professor Soludo is a brilliant economist and a savvy politician. Nothing he says is bad accident. This entire interview segment is a masterclass in political framing. He is attempting to control the narrative around the 2027 election cycle before it even begins in earnest. On one hand, he has a point about continuity. Major infrastructure projects, institutional reforms, and economic restructuring do take time, often more than 4 or even 8 years. From his perspective as a governor dealing with long-term plans, a single-term promise might seem impractical and disruptive. However, this argument completely ignores the deep-seated reasons why the single-term promise resonates with so many Nigerians. For decades, we've seen a political class that views public office as a career, not a service. The second term is often seen as a period of diminished accountability, where leaders focus on consolidating power and personal wealth. The single-term promise is therefore seen as a powerful check on a leader's ambition. It forces them to focus entirely on their legacy within a limited time frame, knowing there is no re-election to campaign for. It's an answer to the problem of seat-tight leadership and the corruption it often breeds. Soludo uses the phrase like mental problem is a low blow designed to create headlines and sow division instead of engaging with valid reasons why voters are drawn to the idea of a single term. He dismisses it as a form of insanity. This isn't a debate about policy, it's an attack on the character and sanity of his political opposition. It will be very interesting to see how figures like Peter Obi respond to this, whether they will take the bait or rise above it. So, what do you think? Is Governor Soludo making a valid point about the need for long-term leadership, or is he simply trying to discredit a popular political idea and its proponents? Is the promise of a single term a sign of genuine sacrifice or a deceptive political gimmick? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I really want to hear what you have to say. If you found this breakdown insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe to Oba's Trending Gist, and ring the notification bell for more deep dive into the stories that matters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.